Hi booktube, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well today. So recently I watched a video by Gonski Books. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, but he made a video about his literary blind spots. So he compiles a list of books from the Western canon, as well as very influential and popular books that he is meaning to get to in his life. And he made an essential TBR, or a lifelong TBR, mandatory TBR, so to speak. And I thought about it, and it was a very fascinating thing to think about, because as we all know, everybody, old and new readers alike, we don't have much time to read every single book that we want. So sometimes it's in our best interest to create an essential of the essential kind of book list, so that we don't leave those out and we don't finish them by the time we die. And it's quite despairing thing to think about, but I thought it was interesting, and so I made TBR for 5 essential books that I want to read by the end of my life. Even if I read them 20 or 30 years from now, I would want to get to them eventually. So I want to make a quick disclaimer first. This is not a comprehensive list for anybody to follow, certainly not for me. Everybody has their own definition of essential, and what I deem as essential you may deem as, just another book, and vice versa. I'm so excited for you to hopefully leave a comment below on what books you deem essential that you want to read in your lifetime. Whether maybe you're not reading it now because it's too challenging or it's too thick, and you want to leave it when you have more time. It can be a multitude of reasons, and each one of them is valid, because I don't think any of us can read all the things that we want to read at one go, as much as we want to, But just wanted to give a quick disclaimer about that. And these are only 5, and I have so many more books I want to include. But these are just a short and a very, very small fraction of the books I term essential to myself that I want to read in my lifetime. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. The first work is the Malay Annals, which is originally written in Malay. It describes the founding and the evolution and the eventual downfall of the Malaccan Sultanate. This work consists of many smaller works, which include the discovery of Singapore, or Singapura, by Sang Nila Utama, and the eventual passing down from ruler to ruler, and how Singapore was founded by the UK and stuff like that. Why I'm so interested in this work is that in Singaporean schools, not much is taught about this period. A lot is taught about the UK's discovery of Singapore, Sir Stamford Raffles, who first made Singapore into a port, and then Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, who is celebrated to be the person who made Singapore the way it is today. These two are very much renowned in Singapore history, but not much is taught about or explained in the events leading up to the appearance of these two figures. So I'm very interested into finding out more about the history of my own country, and I think it is essential to me to find out the origins of the land and its people, and its eventual rise into how it is today. So that is the first book, the Malay Annals. The second work is a 14th century historical novel written by Luo Guangzhong. It is The Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and is based off the records of the Three Kingdoms by Chen Shou in the 3rd century. So Luo Guangzhong, who is the 14th century historical novelist, he romanticizes and he novelizes what happened in the 3rd century. So basically, in the Han Dynasty, when a lot of lords were fighting over power and trying to gain power over each other, and so it is a very renowned and popular novel in China. And because I'm Chinese by ethnicity, I want to learn more about that period in time, which I'm very ignorant about. I want to be more knowledgeable about Chinese history as well as a whole. So I'm going to branch out to more and more works, I'm sure. But this is my starting point for Chinese history. From what I've heard, it is one of the 4 great classical novels of Chinese literature. So rest assured I'm going to get to the other three, but this is my starting point. And back in the day I used to play, I don't know whether you heard about Dynasty Warriors, but it was a lot of Chinese figures, and that's what also greatly interested me about this period in time. The next book is in the Western canon, and that is Middlemarch by George Eliot. Now looking at this book, being the size of my head, I'm quite intimidated by this book. I'm quite scared to start it, because not only is it a very widely regarded and highly regarded book, it is also part of the Western canon, as I said. So one day I'll get into it. One day I will crack open this book and sink many hours into it. But for now, barring some spur of inspiration, I'll leave it at the side first, and hopefully in a year or two I'll get to it. But as I say, I've heard so many good things about George Eliot's writing. She's fantastic to read, as I've heard, and Middlemarch is her magnum opus. And yeah, so this is the third book in my essential TBR, even though I'm quite scared at the length of this book. It's nice to hold though, and it looks nice on my library shelf. So yes, George Eliot, Middlemarch is the third book on my list. Like the previous book, this book is also inside the Western canon, widely regarded as the first ever modern novel. Even among younger and new readers, it is a very popular title, and that is Don Quixote by Cervantes. Now, funny thing about Don Quixote is the first time I heard about the word Don Quixote was from One Piece. There's a character called Don Quixote Doflamingo, and I loved him as a character, and I didn't know that his name was based off this book. And besides its historical significance, I've also had a lot of people recommend it to me. My sister and a few others have said that it was a very good read, engaging as well. And what I love about this version of Don Quixote is translated by Walter Starkey, which from what I've read is not a very accessible version of the book, because it's out of print right now. But I managed to get this from a free library. So I heard that Walter Starkey is a good translator for this book, and sometimes translators and translations of books can make or break your experience with it, and hopefully that this translation works for me. But of course, a very popular book among booktubers, and one that I'm very excited to get into eventually in the next few months, is Don Quixote by Cervantes. Last but not least, we have a Russian, widely known Russian work, and that is the Gulag Archipelago by Solzhenitsyn. And this is a one-volume abridgment of his full volumes, which I heard is more than enough to give you a good picture on the gulags as a whole. And so basically this book is about, if you don't know already, about the authors and 200 other survivors' account of how it was like in the gulags, their struggles and their torments, and from all the guards as well as other prisoners. And I'm going to supplement this book with Gulag: A History by Anne Applebaum. And this period and this subject more specifically really interests me, and I'm excited to learn more about this period in time. That is all I have for you today. 5 books which are on my TBR. So please be reminded that this is my own list, and thank you for watching all the way through. I also welcome you to give your own list down below. 5 is fine, or if you want to give a longer list, that's fine also. But thank you for watching all the way through, and have a good day, booktube. Thank you.